What's going on, guys? My name is Noah, and today we're going to talk about 3 pro tips for injecting testosterone in relation to testosterone replacement therapy. If you'd like to know why I'm on TRT, please feel free to read the description or the description below. Long story short, I was treatment resistant for depression, got my blood work, had very little testosterone. Further blood work confirmed it. A few years ago, here we are present day. Pro tip number 1. Use a smaller needle or a higher gauge needle, which is just a backwards way of saying a smaller needle. Something like a 25 or 26 gauge needle can be very, very useful, or even an insulin needle for that matter. 1/2 inch small needle. The benefit is that when you are injecting, you really feel nothing. You feel nothing assuming you throw it in the right spot. As opposed to a lower gauge or a larger needle, those babies are great for drawing up, but they are definitely very intense sometimes, especially if you don't pin right for injecting. Even something as big as a 21, 22 gauge can occasionally lead to deep bruising, muscle soreness, assuming you don't do this other thing that I'm gonna talk about in just a second. Pro tip number 2 is don't be on a chair or a surface or a stool that rotates, okay? No bueno. What that's gonna allow you to do is flinch or twitch. It's gonna allow potential movement or activation of the muscle in your leg if you're doing it in your leg or just about anywhere else. It allows for just slight movement, and that slight movement can be the difference between the perfect injection or a really bad stinger.
Oh, and I let go of the fucker.
Which we've all had. So I've had times in this very chair, like I said, that rotates, where I thought I had my leg laid out right, I was relaxed, I was calm, I thought I had my stabilizer muscles in check, and then I just slightly pivoted. And when I did do that pivot, I got a sharp sting in my leg. I felt really stupid. So a very simple tip is to make sure you're on an immovable object. So my bed works really, really well. The couch works really, really well. Even a chair, but it's all about height. I like to be low enough to where extending my leg is very natural, very restful, where there's no activation from like my heel pressing up or anything like that. Don't ever inject yourself on anything that moves. Pro tip number 3, this one, in my opinion, is the best pro tip I have for you. I find that if I pinch myself just slightly right before I inject, so I just literally grab a hold of myself and then or dig a nail into my leg, something like that. Something to take my brain away from the stimulus about to come, which is the needle entering, and take it somewhere else. I find that I don't even feel it, and it helps me stay relaxed. So most people can handle pinching themselves or creating pain upon themselves pretty well. They can actually tolerate a lot of pain because we have control over it. We know when it's coming, we know when it's gonna end and what have you. And so I think just tricking your brain when you're about to pin, just by, like I said, digging a nail or something into your thigh. For me, it's the outer quadrant of my thigh. I sit on that hard surface, not a movable surface. I shake and relax my leg, and then I just dig my nail a little bit into my skin. I feel it, ouch, I guess, but I don't worry about it because I'm doing it. And then as I take a deep breath, boom, push it in. No big deal. And bonus tip number 4, now that I just thought of it, which I should have put it in to begin with, aspirate every single time you inject. So aspirating is the act of putting in the needle, plunge the needle, and then draw back on the end of the syringe. That's going to ensure that you did not hit a blood vessel and you are not injecting directly into your bloodstream. The reason that would be a problem is not the testosterone itself, but the oil that it's cut with. So I think it's cottonseed oil for me. That cottonseed oil is going to make its way to your lungs and get trapped in the capillaries of your lungs if you don't aspirate and you happen to hit a blood vessel, however unlikely. And you're going to have a coughing fit. It's going to make it feel like you can't breathe and like you're dying. Very scary, not necessary. Aspirate. Pull back on the needle, just make sure no blood enters your syringe, and then go to work. Okay guys, so those are my tips for you. Those tips have really helped me. I know injecting can be a pain in the ass, literally, or a pain in the quadrant, pain in the thigh. I've seen some dudes objective here. Just remember, higher gauge, AKA smaller needle, longer injection, but far less painful, okay? Remember to sit on a surface that is fully immovable, so nothing like the one I'm sitting on right now, perhaps the end of your bed. Third one, go ahead and dig a nail or pinch yourself if you can just before injecting. You stay nice and relaxed and you just go ahead and inject. You let that external source of pain, AKA yourself, make that needle be much less noticeable. And then fourth one, aspirate. Those are my pro tips for you from a guy who's been pinning himself for quite some time on TRT. I'm sure you guys have a load of other ideas that would be really helpful. Please post them in the comments below. Share your information, share it for others, share it for me. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you to everyone who supports this channel in whichever way that you are able to. And let me know what TRT videos you would like in the comments below as well. We'll see you guys in the next one, boys. Peace. I was gonna say out of here, but I didn't like it, so now I guess I just said it anyway.